Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about the upcoming snowstorm that will be uh, giving lots of snow, well, not really lots, but unusual snowfall for, it seems now, the southern New England regions, especially even close to the coast, potentially could receive some snowfall. So we're looking at the GFS model, the American model, and you see the storms coming down through the Rockies into the Midwest, into the Ohio Valley, and moving into the southern New England and mid-Atlantic states, producing snow from West Virginia up through Pennsylvania. This is by about 2 a.m. Friday night. It's producing snow from West Virginia, Pennsylvania, southern New York State into Massachusetts, and then it shows actually quite heavy snow for Massachusetts and Connecticut. And actually, let's zoom in to the Northeast US. As you can see, it'll come out and it'll start as rain for the coast, and then I think towards around early morning, when a lot of the really mainly early risers start getting out of bed around 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Looks like we could have some snow falling for coastal Connecticut and southwestern Connecticut and the Northwest Hills into the upstate central Connecticut and northwestern Connecticut, or northeastern Connecticut and southeastern Connecticut close to the coast, but I believe rain will predominantly be seen along the southeast coast. And then going towards around, I'd say 2 p.m. on Saturday, you can see it's starting to come to an end. Some lighter snow showers for Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New York State, with rain showers for the coast, for Long Island, southeastern Connecticut, Rhode Island, the Boston area of Massachusetts, up through New Hampshire. But then Maine actually seems to get a pretty decent hammering from heavy snow, especially the southeastern part of the state along the coast, especially. And you can see the pressure of this system is actually quite strong. 977 millibars at around 2 p.m. on Saturday, and then it'll start moving out towards the evening on Saturday, going to Saturday night. So let's now check out the total snowfall for our area, shown the GFS. And the GFS shows up to 2 inches or so, potentially coating to 2 inches towards the southwest coast of Connecticut, potentially up to 4 inches in the northwest hills and the northeast hills. Same with the Berkshires of Massachusetts and some parts of upstate New York and northeastern Pennsylvania, and some of the mountains of New Hampshire and southern Vermont. And then here's, look at Maine, could be seeing potentially snowfall of 6 inches plus, shown by the pink colors right here. So now let's look at the NAM model. Let's do the 12 km. So let's go to total rainfall precipitation. Let's take it back. All right, so now, so this is like later tonight, around midnight, I'd say, or close to midnight tonight, and then going into Friday. Let's see, here comes the storm. Snow starts breaking out. Starts breaking out in central Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Rain will again start out for Connecticut, New Jersey, New York City, southern New York State, Long Island, Massachusetts. But then you can see once again, close to 2 a.m., around 2 a.m. on Saturday, snow will break out for northern New Jersey, the New York City tri-state area, Connecticut. It seems like all of Connecticut except for the extreme southeast coast and most of Rhode Island. Boston looks like it'll be a majority of a rain event, some snow at the very end, and then doesn't actually show too much snow for New Hampshire or Maine, really. So let's check out now the snowfall amounts for the NAM 12 km total snowfall. And you can see it's not really showing too much, really, like nothing to a dusting for Pennsylvania and southern New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont. Though in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, looking at potentially up to like 4 to 6 inches of snow. Look, Maine for NAM, not thinking it'll be really much of anything compared to the GFS at all. Let's compare that to the NAM 3KM, and let's just look at and see what that's showing. This is a little lower resolution for the NAM. Bring it back. Alright, so now the storm's coming in and really shows a lot less snow in the beginning, but then it starts showing snow breaking out for the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia into Pennsylvania. Rain again for the New Jersey, New York City, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island starting out. And then it seems like the snow will start breaking out, according to this model, towards 2 a.m., 3 a.m., late Saturday night, early Saturday morning. And then it shows actually a bit more snow for Boston and extreme southeast Maine, along the southeast coast of Maine. Then it'll get out of here. So let's look at the total snowfall for this model. And it's showing more or less the same thing. So the mountains as the 12 km model that I just showed you, looks like from the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia, dusting to up to 3 inches. Pennsylvania, generally a dusting up to 3 inches, but in some spots maybe up towards 4 to 6 inches. New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, they're all looking at pretty much nothing to a dusting. Though the White Mountains of New Hampshire look to get up to, once again, 6 to maybe 8 inches of snow. Maine actually shows a lot more for Maine than the 12 km model, potentially up towards 4, 5, 6 inches maybe. Now finally, now let's look at the CMC model. This is a Canadian model. Let's go back to the rain-frozen precip, and we can see the storm comes in, and yeah, this is odd. The Canadian model of CMC is showing really all rain for Connecticut, the tri-state area, New York City, New Jersey, Long Island, Boston, coastal Maine, coastal New Hampshire, though the more mountainous, high elevated areas of eastern Pennsylvania, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire will get some snow in the mountains there, and looks like actually snow, a good amount of snow will break out throughout pretty much all of Maine, especially central and northern Maine, and maybe coastal Maine will get into some of that little heavier snow. So let's look at the snowfall amounts for this model, total snowfall. And yeah, as you can see, really like nothing in the mountains of West Virginia, Pennsylvania. New York State, though, shows dusting, and then in some of the more higher elevated regions, maybe up to 3 inches and maybe up to 4, 5, 6 inches. Vermont, up to potentially 4 to 6 inches. New Hampshire, definitely maybe upwards of 6 inches. Maine, you can see coastal Maine, maybe up to 2, 3 inches, dusting to 3 inches. But then in central Maine, the purples and pinks start breaking out. That's 4 inches to 6 inches, and then the pinks is 6 inches plus. Look at the 9 inches there. So it could be pretty much a big event for Maine mainly. Joke. Now let's look at the European model, and the Euro will shows the storm coming down from the Rockies, going through the Midwest Ohio Valley. The rain will break out mainly for Connecticut, New York City, New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania, much of Virginia, some rain showers. West Virginia, rain, but some of the higher elevation mixes and snow. And then it shows a pretty strong low just off the coast of Long Island, 96 millibars. Seems like it shows mainly rain for the coastal areas of Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, though snow for the more mountainous terrain in northwest Connecticut, the Berkshires, Massachusetts, mountainous areas of Vermont, New Hampshire. Maine looks to get pretty much hammered by this, according to the European model. So let's now actually zoom in to the northeast U.S. and check out what the Euro is saying for total snowfall. Let's see. All right, here we go. So once again, dusting seems more of the case for much of northern New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, much of Connecticut, except maybe the northwest hills, the Berkshires of Massachusetts, New York State looking to get maybe up to 6-7 inches. Vermont, New Hampshire could get up to 6 inches. New Hampshire could get up to, Berkshires could get up to 9 inches, 10 inches even. And Maine, the big winter according to the European, could get well over a foot of snow, especially in the most west central parts of Maine, up to 14, 15 inches of snow. That's wild. And actually, I'm going to go to the Climate Prediction Center's website to show you why this is occurring, this weird snowstorm in May. So the Climate Prediction Center, for the next 6 to 10 days between May 12th to 16th, this is after the snowstorm, but after the snowstorm, but this weekend it'll start getting a lot colder. Lows will get down into the 30s in some spots, possibly record-breaking in a lot of areas. And so you can see pretty much extensive cold for the northern two-thirds of the country, with some warm spots in the northwest U.S., Texas, New Mexico, extreme southern Colorado, Oklahoma, and then there's southern Florida with some above average temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. But because since this cold is here, the temperature is well below average, the snowstorm is able to form. Now let's look at the 8 to 14 day outlook. Now this is of course much farther out, so they have a lot less confidence. But the main thing I want to take away from this is between May 14th to the 20th. The cold seems to let up a lot, and the warmth seems to start to slowly build back into the central and eastern U.S., starting out more in the southern U.S., south central, southeastern U.S., some of the mid-Atlantic and central plains. The northwest will stay somewhat above average, but maybe our area and the extreme northern tier of the U.S., New England, upstate New York, the Midwest will stay slightly below average, but will be a lot closer to average by then, between the 14th and the 20th. We may even see some above average days here and there within that time frame. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.